What a time capsule.
Yes, this is. The building was built in 1826. It was a rental property with a 2-unit apartment upstairs that was a boarding house, 2 floors, and down here it was a tavern or a grocery store up until 1868 when William S. Phelps bought this property, brought his young family out here and his wife, and he started William S. Phelps General Store.
Okay.
The store ran until 1940 when Julius, William's son, said, "I'm not doing this anymore," closed his doors up and walked out the door. He left eggs in that blue carton over there from 1940. We were the only building on the corner by the Erie Canal in 1826, but the clientele was too rough. So what he did, this is the original door here from 1826. This is where all the canal people and the people bringing produce or grain, whatever they were bringing, would come in, put their big boots here and their grubby little hands here. So there's 188 years of dirt and DNA on this dirt.
Very cool.
And this is totally original, never been washed, painted, or changed in any way.
So this is the original door for this property
From
along the canal
1826,
side.
yes, until 1867.
Okay.
Then when William bought it,
Okay.
he changed the door to the front. And he kept this as a storage facility. And he closed this door off, but he still kept it, which is
Now
wonderful.
the reasoning behind the closing this door off was basically to keep off the bad crowd, I guess.
Well,
they
the
would call it.
canal clientele was not your ideal for a business that was growing. And these fellas were rough and tough, and it was a tough time. And families just couldn't come down here, so that's why William moved the front. And he put it there with the beautiful windows, and he did very well for himself.
Now the Phelps family, like you said, actually lived upstairs
They did.
while this place had operated. So they were here 108 years as a family, 3 generations of Phelps.
Yes.
Can we go upstairs and meet them?
Absolutely. He was a very progressive man, and he belonged to the Episcopal Church. He was the president of the village at one time, William, this is, and they were just very active in the community, and he grew a fine business here. But his son Julius, who came here when he was 17 days old, I don't think this was his thing. Although he was the son, he was supposed to take over. His father retired about 1900. And Julius took it over, never changed, painted, repaired anything. That's why when we walk into that store downstairs, or when we walk up here, we're walking in about 1880. It was totally left the way it was.
So William lived here up until the end of his life, correct?
Yes, and his end of his life was about 1912.
Okay.
And his wife died shortly thereafter. The family is still here, we know that. We've spoken to Mamie. She tends to watch things and take care of the house.
Mamie is Julius's wife.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes. And Catherine is William's wife. Now, Catherine and William are the grandparents.
They're
Julius,
the originators of this.
they are the originators of this facility. And then Julius, their son, married Mamie. And Julius also had a sister, and her name was Mary Louise. Right after Mamie and Julius got married, they had Sybil within the same year. So Sybil was the only Phelps that was born and raised here in this house. She became a spiritualist. I think she'd rather talk to dead people. She lived in this house the rest of her
Got
life.
that in common, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. She lived here until 1976 when she died.
All right, so now this room right here looks like it's a bedroom.
Yes, it is. It's an added-on bedroom.
Okay.
It's off the kitchen and off the washroom. It's part of the addition that William put on the building. This became the sick room, so that when people were ill, because it was close to the kitchen and close to the washroom, they would stay in this room and be cared for.
This is where people would spend the last of their days.
Probably, or if they were ill for some period of time, they would be down here and recover.
Do you know of anybody that actually died in this room?
I believe, yes, that Mamie, Julius, William, and Catherine.
Now, Sybil herself, from what you've explained to me a little bit, she seems like a very interesting person herself.
Oh, extremely interesting. She was very, very unique. And it's kind of interesting because Sybil was called, everybody kind of called her, they thought she was a witch. She lived in this place. This place was dark. The curtains were ragged.
No electricity.
No electricity, no running water. And here's this little old woman who would walk around the village, typically in black.
Now, she lived here until she was 80, correct?
81, yep.
So there's an old 80-year-old woman dressed in black and this
Yeah.
old-fashioned, everybody in the town,
They-
we're going to start finding that she's a witch.
Well, the kids. You know, there's always that one house
Yeah.
that if you go into it, you'll never come out. Or that the witch will come out and get you. That was what they thought of Sybil. And they would torment her. She'd call the police up, and they wouldn't be able to convince her to let them in. If something was wrong, show me what they did. And they just had to talk to her for the longest time because she didn't really trust or feel comfortable with anyone.
So she felt she was being picked on by the townspeople.
Totally, yeah, and they did, and I've talked to people that picked on her and would knock on the windows and make faces. And I think she did scribing with mirrors. That's why you'll see so many mirrors everywhere, and a lot of them are facing each other. And
Now, this is a spiritualist practice where,
Oh, yeah.
where you're using this to communicate with the dead.
yeah, I think that's what she did, and she could see things. So many people had seances. They all were talking to dead people. They didn't want anybody to know.
Well, it's like modern day with
Broadcasting it.
Ouija boards. When you open doors, sometimes they're hard to close. And, being in a place that has this sort of history, and someone with the capability like Sybil to communicate with the spirit world. I mean, all these things could be factors into why people are experiencing some paranormal activity within this home. All right, so have any paranormal experiences happened to you personally?
Not wild about being touched. However, this is what they do to me. Hello. If I stand here, this voice comes in and breathes right in my ear. They caught that on tape, and I don't care for that because it's really so loud it almost hurts. We've had talking. I've had things move. We've had a lot of things.
So
happen
do
here.
you believe 100% that this
Absolutely.
is actual ghost activity from the Phelps family?
And how can you say it isn't because so many people...
My husband was standing here one night after a Christmas party we had in the store, and I was inside the store, and he was standing like right here facing me, and I saw him look down there, and then he looked back at me, and he was like white. He said, "You're not going to believe this, but he just saw somebody walk in the brick wall."
Your husband did?
On this property, right down 2 buildings, were 3 homes. They were small homes, they were rental properties. And at 132 Market Street, which is where the Historical Museum is, on December 20th, 5 days before Christmas, 1964, which is interesting because that's 50 years ago, this year, a young family named the Breedens, the mom and the 6 children were in there, and there was a terrible fire. The fire started early morning on the 20th, and 4 of the children were with their mother, huddled, and then 2 of the 2 boys two of the other boys were together, Samuel and Eddie. Eddie was the oldest. And they were found under a mattress.
So
They all died. They were separate. That's why that girl
okay.
was so good.
So you don't like when there's a fire in the house, you don't go under a mattress.
And
There's
why?
foul play involved, I would assume.
Well, you know, it's a mystery. However, we've asked our local police department, and you know, they have the case and they talk about it and they look at it, and the facts lead to the father. However,
He's the only one in the family that actually didn't
he wasn't
die in the
here.
fire.
Yeah, that's right. He was the only one that didn't die in the fire, and he was supposed to be away. There's 2 boxes of files on this, I guess. The firemen absolutely will never talk about it. It's too distressing, the whole thing.
Okay, so this property, this is a house
Yeah.
where on the
What?
property where the historical museum
Yes.
sits today.
All those properties were torn down. The one that burned totally down, which is 132, is buried in the basement of where the historical
So
museum
this
was set
location
on
where
top of.
these 7 people all burned to
Died.
death.
Yep.
That's still there?
Yes, it is.
That's in the basement.
It's in the basement. Yes.
Can you check that out?
We absolutely can.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
All right.
This is the Palmyra Historical Museum. This is a 23-room building. The part we're standing in is 1826, was a restaurant and a boarding house upstairs. And the front part was 1898 and built as a bar room and a hotel. Total 23 rooms. We have a basement and an attic, and in the basement is where the remnants are of the house that burned in 1964.
So
They
this
just
old bar,
buried it.
tavern, this whole building was actually moved from
This whole building was
the other
moved
side of the...
from across the parking lot, and in 1976 they moved it to save it from being torn down and set it here and left the basement. They didn't put in a full basement, which now I know why, because this graveyard, the home where the 7 people died, is still in the basement. And
Did
it was
they
just
recover
buried.
all of the bodies, or
Uh,
all of the entire bodies, or do you think there's still parts of...
As the firemen
remains?
tell it, and they don't like to talk about it at all. They got enough to burn.
Have you ever found anything down there?
Well, I found a little bone.
I want to say real quick too, I mean, we are in a historical museum.
You
so
are.
You have experienced activity in this building, I would assume,
Yes,
correct?
a lot.
A lot?
Mhm.
You yourself?
Yes, and I've been doing this for so long that you just have to work through it. But the children are playing, and they come up and they'll touch your pant leg, or they'll pull your little hair, or you'll hear them walking up and down. They move things. Things just happen all the time like this.
I mean, where we're standing right now, this is the actual remains of this house.
Yes.
This is ashes. This
This is ashes. There's a whole level of ash down here, and it was all covered with dirt.
So this is brick from the home. This is actual wood, burnt wood. This is the home that
Exactly.
burned
Oh,
down.
here's a piece of a plate or something.
And it burned so hot that it was like a crematorium.
Oh,
It was
my
so
goodness.
hot that one of the firemen told me that when they found a policeman came down, when they found the kids under the mattress, he had said to the fireman, "Oh, look they got dolls down here." What had happened was the fire was so hot, there was no fluid left, and it shriveled them up
Oh my goodness.
like little.
And this is the collapsed foundation. This is
This is it.
This is the
steps.
sidewalk.
Yep.
Holy cow.
And it's all down here, and
So you have this historical museum with all this, hundreds and hundreds of artifacts from the 1800s until now, and it's all on top of a tomb.
kind of.
Because there's a lot of history here, and a lot of stories, and a lot of lives. So let's get the team together, and we'll get all set up, and we'll get right back with you. Okay?
Awesome.
Thank you very
Yes.
much, Bonnie.
Thank you
All right.
very much. It's a pleasure.
Hey Ashley, what's going on? So I know you just took a walk through both buildings, okay, here in Palmyra. Can you tell me what you've experienced as far as the activity in the buildings?
Yeah, I got a lot actually. We can start with this building first. I went through the house and immediately there is a room with medical supplies in it.
One of the museum rooms upstairs?
Yes. I just get this, very hyper crazed doctor, like Dr. Evil almost. Not sticking to what he's supposed to be doing, like crazy medical procedures. For example, I got the strong sense that he was actually an abortion doctor. Got a lot of, just things having to do with an abortion out there. Also, weird things like, for example, someone went in there for just a simple sickness and it would go crazy off the wall to shock therapy or something like that. Just very off the wall.
Something totally unnecessary.
Unnecessary completely.
Like he was just basically trying to hurt people?
Yeah, just experiments.
Okay.
Just using people to do weird.
He thought he could get away with it.
Exactly.
So
And he
this
did it
is
for a very long
you think
time.
this is a doctor that's attached to an object in the room?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I got a lot of energy off the box that was in there, and I think that was having to do with the electric shock therapy.
Okay.
And then there are tools, not sure, like gynecology tools and things, and I think that's what made me think and be, connected to abortions. He was doing abortions.
Okay.
Basement, very strong.
The basement here?
Yeah, very strong.
What's going on in the basement here, Ashley?
I can pick up a mother and very small children dying down there in the basement. I just think of them just not breathing, smoke, not breathing, suffocation. And when I went down there, all I wanted to do was dig. All I wanted to do was dig in there.
Okay. Yeah, there was the building itself, even though this part of the building, even the room we're sitting in right now is an 1800s room, this actual building was across the other side of the parking lot. The structure that was originally here on this foundation was burned. They believe there was foul play involved, but there was a family. The father was not in the house, was supposed to be away on business, and in the house was the mother and their 6 kids that had all died. There was children that were found underneath their bed mattresses. So this is something that, the town doesn't really like to talk about, but obviously we were led to believe that these people were already dead and placed under the mattresses, and then the house was burned down. But there is the original foundation in this basement of that building. There's pieces of the house, there's pieces of the kitchen, and Bonnie herself believes there's pieces of human beings down there still.
Yeah.
And that really happened 40 years
found a
ago
piece.
this year. Yeah, she said she found a bone.
piece.
So that's very, very
Right on.
right on. You definitely hit a home run with the basement here, because that happened. Okay, so did you get a chance to go walk over to the Phelps store?
I did. I was drawn to the second floor apartment, and it was kind of funny because I felt a very dominant presence of a woman that lived there. But it was kind of funny because I felt like she was just like me, in the sense of mediumship, spiritual. Absolutely.
That would be Sybil. Yeah, Sybil was the granddaughter of William Phelps, who actually started the store. The Phelps family lived there for about 108 years, 3 generations. It was William, his son Julius, and his wife, and their daughter Sybil. Sybil actually lived in that building until she was 80 years old. She was a spiritualist.
That makes sense. When you go into her living room, you can just picture and feel that readings went on there.
Yeah.
Readings and rituals,
Yep.
and you just get a very strong feeling.
I'm really interested to know, what connection you can get with Sybil.
Okay.
All right. You said she's a lot like you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna try to use that to our advantage here tonight. So I'm gonna take you with Dan and I, and we have another investigator that's gonna meet us over at the house. And he has been here several times, and he's going to share with us some of the experiences that he had. So let's get the teams together. I am going to have Lewis and Lynn investigate the entire museum, top to bottom, and you, Dan, and I can use the time that we have here for the Phelps store. Okay. All right. So let's go. Let's get you ready. Let's go meet Dan and Phil over at the Phelps store, and you and Lewis can start putting together your investigation over here. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
We just entered the Phelps General Store, and we're met here with Philip Gibson, who is a paranormal investigator. Now, you've investigated this building on several occasions, correct?
Right, yes.
Okay, and what kind of activity have you experienced in here?
There's a boy that's constantly runs. There's talking in that, and there's quite a bit though.
Okay, so you've actually captured EVPs down here
Yes.
in this room. What do they say?
Just small things, prices and that stuff, and just small talk, basically.
Okay, so you think this is like a residual type of EVP that you're catching is just basically somebody going through a transaction at the general store, talking about numbers and dollar figures and
Possibly, yeah.
prices?
Very possible, yeah.
Okay. Now, the man who actually worked here in the most was William,
Right.
which was the patriarch of the Phelps family. W.M. Phelps that's what we're talking about is William. He was here every day, and he built his home upstairs, correct?
Yes.
Where him and his family grew up, and he lived there, and he would just walk downstairs to work. So he's attached to there, correct?
Definitely,
Okay, you believe he's here?
definitely.
Okay, Ashley, do you believe he's here?
I do.
Do you think he's here right now?
Yes.
Okay, what I want to try to do is I want to see if he'll talk to us, maybe about some prices, because I know that from talking to Bonnie, she said all this stuff on the wall is original besides like 2 or 3 things.
Right.
So let's see if we can start an EVP session and see if we can get some price checks on some of the stuff from William. Sound like a good idea?
Sounds like a great idea.
All right, let's get started. Okay. All right, so what I want to do is I want to start an experiment here and try to see if we can communicate with William. We know that he's the one that actually ran the store for the longest amount of period of time during when the canal was built. And this was a very, very busy place. We know from the door here, check out the door. This is the original front door. This is the wear and tear of, 103 years of the Phelps General Store that was going through. These people coming from the canal. This is where they would kick their boot, and this is where they would push the door open. What I want to do is I want to try an experiment here where we're trying to talk to William. Now, we know that he worked here at the general store. He was the man in charge of the cells, and you're saying you're capturing EVPs of him actually going through sales transactions, with things that are going on here at the store. So, William, if you are here, there are some things that I would like to purchase from you. I just don't know if we have enough money, so I need to know how much things are going to cost. So we're going to set up an EVP session real quick. Okay, that's pretty big right here. If I get an item here, I just need you to open up the cash register, maybe. Tell me what I can purchase and what I can't purchase. Are you seeing me over here by the desk? Is everything here for sale? I hear music.
Okay, I thought it was going crazy.
You heard that, Joe?
Yeah, I thought it was going
Did
crazy.
you hear music?
No.
I heard music.
Okay.
Upstairs?
No, me too, swear.
I heard music coming from upstairs.
Yeah. Was it
There's
piano?
no doubt about it.
Was
Yeah,
it piano?
It was definitely
Thank you.
piano.
Yes, it was piano.
Was it just like a
There was
one?
music coming from upstairs too.
It was like a ding ding, ding, like 3 keys, like music, piano. Yeah, I thought it was going nuts.
Okay,
Sorry.
and I know that during the walkthrough, she said that Sybil plays the piano, and she said sometimes, she said if it's one note, it's one of the cats, and if it's more than one note, it's Sybil.
So it was like 3.
So do you think that's Sybil up there inviting us up?
I think so.
Brought a flash. Light here, we'll flip it on.
What'd you hear?
Sorry.
What?
I heard something, and then when I went to go look over there, it was a shadow figure that went right by the door.
Was it her?
Yeah, you saw that?
It was civil.
Ooh, that holy shit, that scared
Was
me.
it a man or?
No, it was a woman, and it was a woman. And it was almost like floated, not walked, floated so gracefully past that doorway.
I've seen that, like,
Yeah. And it's just like it's like being toyed with. It's like being toyed with.
I think though, if there was. Okay, here's something here.
You can actually smell the burnt wood down there. It's strong.
First EVP per session, then in the basement.
And it's really sad because I mean you can see, there's charred remains and burnt wood, just rubble from where the house burned down.
Did you die down here? Can you give us some sort of a sign that you are here? Think.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a good question.
I told her to go to ask a question, and the ovula said, think.
Well, we do know that a couple of the names of the children are Sammy and Susan. Sammy, are you here with us?
Who's here? Tell us your name really clear.
I feel like they're... Yeah, you hear that?
Yeah.
It's back there.
How many of you are down here? What's our business? We're here to communicate with you, to try to get some answers. Maybe if there's something that you want to relate to your family or say something to those that are still living.
Why don't you speak into our recorder and tell us what your favorite game is? Upstairs you said it was hide and seek.
Hide? Oh, night. Should I try to play back? Yeah. First EVP per session, Linen basements. Hide? It did say
Hide.
hide.
It said hide.
It said hide.
It said hide.
It definitely said hide.
That's awesome. Are you gonna hide right now? I don't think Lou's gonna find you. He's not very good at hide and seek. Oh. He agreed.
Yeah.
I'm much better, but I have my flashlight, so I'm gonna cheat.
Oh, that's incredible.
That is awesome.
It said hide. And that it was
At night.
stationary. Hide at night, right.
Yeah.
It was stationary. You've seen that we didn't touch this thing.
So
Saw.
let's see. Well, yeah, we'll find you.
Yeah.
If we find you, we'll see you, right?
Yeah. You saw me? Is that what you're trying to say?
It means when you go to hide, he's really going to be able to find you easily.
We're coming up one at a time because it's a very old staircase and we just want to make sure we're being safe. So actually everything up here is original from the 1800s. you know, the son, Julius, after William, never touched anything, never did any remodeling up here, so everything's pretty much how it was. All the furniture's the same. Interesting. All right.
I feel like it's a little funhouse effect. I'm like all up.
What you mean upstairs, okay? What do you mean funhouse effect?
Just I feel like off balance.
Like the
dizzy
floor's
and queasy.
slanted.
It is slanted, but it's just like my head feels like it's being squeezed.
All right. Where are you feeling this from?
I don't know. I want to go in there.
Okay, this is William and his wife Catherine's room.
Oh,
All right, you guys want to try to open the spirit box here real quick? See if we can talk to William. See if we can talk to his wife Catherine.
That's their gown.
All right, it's still playing that like music.
Yeah.
It's literally doing the same thing over and over like a song. Are you whistling? What's going on behind you? You can hear that going on behind you? Whose bedroom is this? I heard it say Phelps.
Yeah, it sure
It
does.
said a first name and then Phelps. Are you still here?
Holy shit.
It feels like it's going like this.
Oh my god, this is crazy.
Can you see us right now? Do you know that we're here? Can you hear my voice? Can you hear my voice? We can hear it. Who's we?
That just named a whole bunch of. Did you hear that?
Dude, I heard one clear name. It was Mamie. Mamie is one of the Phelps. That's Julius's wife.
Right. That was the guy saying it, wasn't it?
No, it was a girl.
Was it?
Mamie, was that you saying your name? Mamie, are you here?
Which was originally copper and painted over. There's a lot of really creepy stuff in here. And this is where Ashley, our psychic medium, just got this horrible sense of a doctor who was doing, just running amok with his own medical experiments and practices, doing things way beyond what he should be doing to people who weren't really sick. Just like crazy, kind of like a mad scientist crazy. And no one was stopping him from doing whatever he wanted to do.
All right, spirit box session. With Lynn and Lou. We heard that there's a doctor up here. What was his name again?
Dr. Smith.
What's your name? Dr. what? What was that? Help! Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That was like a little girl.
I heard that.
Does the doctor have you?
I want to say that the box that's right behind us is the abortion tools. I was looking back there, that little box. Is the doctor here with us? We know that this was your favorite piece of equipment that you used to torture people with. And I'm sure the people that you tortured were women that you saw.
That's something.
What did you use this big box for with the electrodes? Did you shock people? Did girls come to you for help and you hurt them instead?
How long have you been here?
Yeah, I'm not really sure who's
We're getting a lot.
here. Yeah.
Like the doctor, we're getting women, little girls.
Yeah. Why don't you bring the box over here and see if that
The what?
the box. Bring the box over here. That's the box. I'm assuming that's the box of abortion tools.
Oh, this?
Yeah. I'm not touching it.
What do I have in my hand? That's abortion tools. That's the, yeah.
Yeah. Forceps. Are these your tools, Dr. Smith? It says run.
Run.
Is that a warning?
Are you eat? Are you trying to warn me because I'm touching your tools? What are you gonna do to me if I try to take these home with me?